Hello my ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. It's been a while since I popped on and did a pre-recorded video, but it's a happy Mail Friday. I love it, particularly when you get to the end of the week and there's a nice little surprise waiting for you. So you will have seen from the title that this is Cilla Conway's latest deck, Old Gods Tarot, and I am so excited. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am. I'm a huge fan of Cilla as a person. I think she's lovely, a lovely person, and also as an artist. She is very diverse when it comes to her art styles. My love of her work started with Days of Creation, which probably a lot of people, I think if you mention Cilla Conway, will quote the Days of Creation. So I think that was a deck that kind of captured a lot of people's, particularly on YouTube, because YouTube had a surge of popularity in the last 6-7 years. And so, you know, people were talking about Days of Creation. Since then, she's done the multi-dimensional Days, which I love, and the incredible Book of the Dead Oracle. Those are the Oracle decks. The Intuitive Tarot, this is a re-updated version, but this was her first tarot deck many years ago. And it's incredible. It's really incredible. But when I spoke about the diversity of her artwork, she did a deck with John Matthews called the Byzantine. Some people say Byzantine, or I just kind of say Byzantine. Now, there's two versions of this. One is released by Connections, and the other one is by Red Feather. So yeah, two different versions. This one I picked up really at an affordable price from The Works, which is a discount bookshop in the UK. And then the Byzantine Tarot was sent to me for review by Red Feather, who are part of Schiffer. So I was very fortunate to have both versions and be able to do a contrast and compare of the two decks. This deck I have been following the creation of probably for as long as I received what can only be described really as a soul deck, and that is the Shimmering Veil Tarot. Anybody who is subscribed to my channel will just know how much I adore this deck. I always say that the RWS, just the bog standard Pixies artwork, RWS is my soul deck. That's the one I will reach for. That's the one I do readings for particularly for other people. But this deck in particular, the Shimmering Veil, just speaks to my soul. And I really then understood the concept of a soul deck, because it is so beautiful, so powerful. And it's just one that it's always on my desk. Since the day I got it, it's never gone onto the shelf. It's always out on my desk. I don't keep it in this box. I keep it in a little box here that stands upright, so I can just grab the deck and work with it. I use it for personal use. I don't read for other people with Shimmering Veil. And when Cilla saw a walkthrough I did of Days of Creation, she contacted me and said, can I send you my tarot deck, Shimmering Veil? And I was like, oh, absolutely. I just think your artwork is incredible. Little did I know that it would become my favourite deck of that year and my second favourite deck of all time. And Cilla has been so kind. She sent me an art print of the Hermit, which, if I remember, I'll insert a picture of that here, just in case you haven't seen it. But that picture hangs over my sacred space, and it's just a treasured gift that Cilla was kind enough to send me. So, Old Gods Tarot. I do have some information that I can share with you from the website. I don't think anybody's done a walkthrough yet, so it's hot off the press. So, you know, I can share with you the information that I have to hand. And I will put let's turn that back around, a link to this page in the description below, because there is a lot of information here, and I'll share some of it with you today, just so that you've got some additional info behind it. But as you would have seen from the tarot decks that I've got, Intuitive and Shimmer and Veil, to the Oracle decks, the packaging and everything that Cilla's decks come in are always top notch. They really are beautifully presented. This one has the rose petal finish and this gorgeous foil, what they call cold stamping. Just stunning. And this looks to be no exception. Oh, I'm so excited. So the Old Gods Tarot. Look at that. Cilla Conway, the creator of Shimmer and Veil Tarot, the Days of Creation, the Intuitive Tarot, and the Book of the Dead. To name but a few. Oh, I like how this is set out. So it's like an old book itself. And then we've got the cards and the book here. I'm going to take the cellophane off just so it makes the back easier to read. So let me just grab some scissors. Okay. There we go. That's all we need to do. And there was a little story behind this. So this was sent to an old address that I don't have access to anymore. And Cilla contacted me to say she'd sent me this deck. Because as I said, I've been following the progress of this since I was sent Shimmer and Veil, because when we went into lockdown, Cilla didn't rest on her laurels. She cracked on and she made quite a few decks. And this one I was particularly excited about. And she said it had been sent, and I asked her where it had been sent to, and she told me the address. And when I said, oh, I don't have access, but I'll see what we can do, she was like, no worries, I can send you another one. She's just so kind, really kind and generous. So again, like the previous deck, the Book of the Dead, that lovely soft rubbery rose petal finish. We've got metallic matte gold for the Old Gods Tarot by Cilla Conway. We've got this beautiful border on the side. It says the Old Gods Tarot. So let me just read what it says on the back. Cilla Conway's latest tarot deck takes us on a journey back in time to the realms of the ancient goddesses and gods. The cards feature multiple deities from around the globe, while the minor arcana are pips. They're ancient artifacts chosen to reflect elemental energies. This is an 8-card deck with 2 Fools. So 2 Fools, that's similar to, well, I say similar, it's the same, because there's 2 Fools in the Shimmer and Veil. There's the Fool and the Golden Fool, and I'm wondering if that's the same sort of concept here. And the 80th card, the Wild Gods, who, though you may not have heard of them previously, are probably more real than all the others. Now that's interesting. The face cards, that's also known as the courts, also depict multiple deities. That's right, I think there's about 3 deities per face card, per court card, with a twist. In this deck, the goddess of each suit holds the highest authority within each suit's elemental energies. The god deals with the everyday administration and answers to the goddess in material and spiritual matters. That's really cool. The priestess works in tandem with her goddess and god as she performs rituals related to the esoteric pathways of her suit. The warrior protects and defends the element to which he belongs. Chalices for water, orbs for earth, scepters for fire, and blades for air. The included 170-page companion book containing full colour thumbnails of each card is a somewhat sardonic guide through the myths and legends of the deities. Also included in this section is a section on sacred geometry and numerology, a list of the deities featured in the deck, a bibliography, and citations for further reference on the imagery used in the cards. So how cool is that? And just look at the shape of them. This looks to be a really gorgeous deck. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful matte. So we have this little sleeve here, as you can see, for us to take out the book. We have little thumbnails here of each of the cards as well. So here is the book, and as you can see, it is fully colour. I just wanted to share with you as well from the website as to why Cilla decided to create this deck in particular, because I just really enjoyed reading it. So it says, why did I decide on this deck? And why this medium? Years ago, I had read a book entitled The Old Gods Laugh. It wasn't particularly wonderful. It was really chauvinistic, even for the era. But the phrase stayed with me. I could see these massive beings, their laughs echoing through the heavens as they decided whether to inflict the world with fire, a drought, or a pandemic. They have been busy recently, haven't they? As for working in Photoshop, I felt like a change, a more precise set of images. So Cilla tends to usually work in oils, in the main, particularly with decks like Shimmering Veil, but not with Byzantine. I felt like a change and a more precise set of images. I decided to have at least 3 gods in each major arcana from very different areas of the world. Some have more than 3. If I found interesting deities to include, the Empress, for instance, has 5. The Great Goddess, Nut and Isis, Sibyl, Demeter and Persephone. You'll find her below together with a few of the major arcana. So we can see here, look, the images that we get. Aren't these incredible? There are 23 major arcana in the deck. Rather like the Shimmering Veil, I've included 2 fulls. Unlike the Shimmering Veil though, there is an extra 80th card, which I added more for myself than anything else, the Wild Gods. You'll have to wait to see that one, as I'm not including it here. How exciting. And then she talks about why she created a pip deck. Creating a pip deck instead of my normal basic symbolic imagery was quite different. Numbers have their own magic, which I also managed to intuit in my teens, but I never managed to make the jump to calculus or esoteric mathematics. I did quite a bit of research on the magic of numbers and the way of reading a pip deck, mostly from 2 authors, which she quotes here, and Caitlin Matthews' equally unmissable book, The Untold Tarot. While I painted, I found it quite relaxing. Okay, so yeah, but again, there's a lot of information about the process, the inspiration, on that website, which will be linked below. So let's have a quick look at the book. So as you can see, it's published this year, 2022. So the Intuitive Tarot was published, that showed you, I said it's been out a number of years, 2004 and then again in 2017. Days of Creation was 2004. Shimmering Veil 2 years ago already. Multi-dimensional Days is 2021. I can't even believe that's a year. And the Book of the Dead 21 to 22. Yeah. So in the contents, we get the introduction, why do we have gods? Something about the early religions, a meeting with the old gods, origins of the deck, what gods, if any, are around today. This is so informative. As the Wild Gods Wait, thumbnails, and then we go into the deck. Majors and minors, and then we go through, we've got chalices, scepters, orbs and blades. And then we get the Wild Gods, which is that additional card. So lots of information in this book. Origins of the deck. I can't wait to sit and read this. Here's the thumbnails, and these pips are beautiful. Beautiful. I really am enjoying working with pips. Have I still got to hand? Yeah, I mean, this is something I did years ago, and I laminated it, just basics of the pips and then basics of the elements. And that is a good jumping off point. You know, if you've got 7 new growth and you pull swords, you know, 7 of swords, new growth of the mind, expansion of the mind, you know. And that's how you start off. That's how I, you know, got my head around working with pips. So lots of information for each. I've just landed on the Hermit. For each bit, you get a lot of writing here, and she goes through, you know, what's depicted. The focus here is Odin, the preeminent god in Norse mythology, described as an immensely wise, one-eyed old man. Odin has a list of varied characteristics. Not only was he the deity to call upon when war was being prepared, he was also the god of poetry, of the dead, of runes, and of magic. So there's lots of information about the gods that are depicted. Even reversed meanings here. Suggested interpretations, a call from deep within, an inner drive that has to be followed, even if the destination is not only unknown, but often unimaginable. A kind of soul hunger, withdrawal, solitude, inner knowing, introspection, uncertainty, and not necessarily negative, trust and pilgrimage. So we get some keywords there, as well as this beautiful write-up. And we get a page of information for each of the pip cards as well. And we get 2 pages for the face cards or the court cards. So a lot of information in here. We get some sample readings, as you can see, and then the bibliography. Lovely book. And this is in the rose petal as well, with the same, and that's embossed, that's raised. Oh, it's beautiful. The quality is exceptional. So I'm just going to pop the book. Oh, I'll leave the book out actually, just in case I need to reference it. I'll take the cards out. We've got these nice little ribbons, although I didn't need them. And then we get 2 cards here. Is this our 2 fools? You know who I am, don't you? When the world was so fresh, you could stretch out your hands to touch the sky. When you could jump off the cliff and fly. You may have forgotten, but I have not. And then we have, through the passage of time, wisdom you thought forgotten is never lost. Dancing amongst the stars of the boundless heavens, I am here within you, and you are here within me. Wherever you go, there I am. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's take these bands off and pop them. This is going to be a chunky deck. I'm just looking at, so the borders are different for the majors. Okay. Wow. And look at that gilding. These are the backs as well. Let me bring this up. I will bring the camera down for a close-up look at the cards. But as you can see, it's this gorgeous matte, soft, silky matte cardstock. And then this really beautiful brushed metallic gold. So I was just looking in the book actually, just to see if Cilla had put somewhere why she'd decided to use an octagram shape for the cards, and I couldn't find it in the book, but it's cool. I love it. It's I don't have any decks that are this shape. In terms of a I nearly said a price comparison then, a size comparison, they feel a little bit wider than a standard tarot deck, probably because of the so they're about the same height, but as you can see they are wider, and this is just an NPC playing card, so you can get an idea of the size of the deck. I'm not sure what the GSM is, but I would have said at minimum 330. It's a really nice, like I say, finish to the cards, and it's a nice chunky deck. All right, I'm gonna bring the camera down so we can have a closer look at these beautiful images. All right, I was just going to do a flip through and then talk at the end after showing all the cards, but I just know that I'm going to be oohing and ahhing all the way through this. Look how beautiful this is. Look at that little butterfly. This looks like a Shaolin monk or something. I mean, I'm not going to read from the book because that could make this video very long, although we're only looking at the major arcana really, aren't we, for the deities. So the Fool in the Tarot varies from extreme naivety to divine madness. The card depicts a few aspects of this paradoxical figure. The central deity shows one of the 8 immortals of Taoist law, okay? Lu Hai, also known as Lu Kao or Lu Dao. The barefoot immortal or barefoot master is recognized by his half bald head and bare feet. It's just such a beautiful deck. And again, you know, if you get this, you get all this information to read as well about the Mad Monk, who the other lower left we see Dionysus, the god of ecstasy. So it describes the scenes, which is just wonderful. Look at this for a rich burst of colour. The central figure, I can't pronounce half of these names, to be honest. The central figure is the Etruscan Terns, whom the Greeks called Hermes and the Romans called Mercury. So you do get, whilst there being multiple, a minimum of 3, sometimes more, as you can see here, there is a central deity that you see within the images. Just look how beautiful this is. The print quality, I hope it's transcending the lens, just to see the print quality of this deck. The Delphic oracle seated on her tripod, oh, that's that one there. What constitutes a high priestess? Many current religions dress their priests in women's gowns, but the high priestess, who can reach through the veil between the worlds and bring back wisdom and predictions of her future, has sadly never had a place in today's Orthodox religion. The main goddesses of summer have not yet been... Yeah, so there's a lot of information, and if I sit reading the book, this is going to become a very long video. I love this image for the high priest, for the empress, sorry. I just love it. She's got this cornucopia. She's maternal, holding this baby. She's got almost like a pagan goddess vibe to her. In the center, we see the ancient great goddess, huge, lush, fecund. In one hand, she holds a sleeping baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, and in the other, a symbolic horn of plenty. By her feet are two leopards, reflecting her link with big cats, seen long ago. Wow. I could go on, but look how stunning that image is. Here we have our emperor, or emperors really. This is Enki, the god of wisdom, fresh water, intelligence. It's going to be amazing to sit and read about the old gods as well, that people have worshipped throughout history. So we have the shaman for the Hierophant card, card 5. Oh, and we have the horned god here, look. How incredible is that? With the is it a kestrel resting on his shoulder? The lovers is beautiful. Traditional meaning of the lovers cards is about choice, referred mainly to the Greek myth of Paris, with her young man choosing maturity, turning away from his mother towards his lover. Here's our chariot, gorgeous chariot. I love how the horses here in the four are all of a different colour. And this is Apollo, the Greek god Apollo. Gosh, I've seen these images, either thumbnails or, you know, work in progress as Cilla has shared them. But they are really striking in real life. They're just beautiful. Themis, Greek goddess of balance and justice. So justice is 8 rather than strength, which makes sense if it's a pip deck. This is a beautiful hermit card. Oh wow. I love this this deity here in deep meditation. So as we knew from earlier, the focus here is Odin, the preeminent god of Norse mythology. Then we have our wheel. And here's the strength card. Look how beautiful that is. Wow. So this is the Vedic goddess Durga, representing strength, power and invincibility. Then we have our hanged man. Oh look. Is that the hermit again? Looks like our hermit, doesn't it? This is Artis, son of Sibyl. Just going to see if it says anything about the hermits there. Got the tree of life here. Oh, I've only just spotted that goddess there. The final figure shown hanging from the tree to the right is the hanged Artemis. Okay. Yes, so walking towards the Year King, we see Odin once more, no doubt recalling how his insatiable appetite for knowledge had led to the sacrifice of his eye. Okay. And here we have death. I think this is Kali, just by, just as a guess. I've lost my page on the book. There we go. So death, So we have Anubis, of course, from Egyptian myth. Hades. We encountered him briefly through his abduction of Persephone in The Empress. So we've got Hades there. Sorry, my candle has started making that awful noise again. And I don't want it to be distracting, so I might have to blow it out. Actually, it's just stopped. So we'll see how we get on. Don't want it to be distracting. Okay, so this isn't Carly. It says on the right below Anubis, we meet Guillotine or Guillotine. That ends that. The Lithuanian goddess of death and plague, who was supposedly, before her deification, an attractive young woman who was buried alive. After 7 years, she managed to escape the grave, but in the intervening years had become a terrible old woman with a long blue nose and a poisonous tongue. She licked people doomed to death. She walked the world strangling people or breaking their necks during various epidemics. Guillotine had a number of different names, including the Reaper. Wow. Her sacred bird was the owl. At times she was considered to be the sister of Lama as a kind of jewel deity. Wow. Wow. Don't you just think these images are just so not only beautiful, but really, really powerful? Here we have Temperance. I love this balance here, black and white. Temperance is a sense of profound, soul-deep balance where the searcher on the tarot journey begins to realise that the goal of his or her journey is, and always has been, the hero's game. An alchemic concept. Hero's game is the sacred marriage between the inner and the outer, and the masculine, feminine within each of us. Here it is represented symbolically by white and black dancers in the card. Oh, wow. Wow, look at this devil card. The devil has been called various names in many different cultures: Beelzebub, Lucifer, Satan, etc., with varying attributes including horns and hoofed feet. These, however, are filched from Pan, a nature spirit, who was never evil, while the devil is seen as the ultimate in depravity. C.S. Lewis describes it as a creature that, although it can argue philosophy with the best of them, is utterly narcissistic and destructive. I can't wait to read this book fully. Look at this Tower card. Wow. The Tower is commonly interpreted as danger, crisis, destruction, or liberation. Let's see what these deities are here. There were many deities who controlled creation and destruction, and even more who are associated with storms and lightning. Baal was the powerful Mid-Eastern god of storms. And though his powers extended to the many other areas, here only his hand is shown in the top right of the image. Okay. Kali, I knew Kali would make an appearance, was often depicted as black or deep blue, with an outstretched tongue, 4 arms, one of which holds a scimitar, the other a decapitated demon, while the other 2 seem to have nothing much to do. And she has a necklace of shrunken skulls. Wow. And then we have Poseidon. What a fantastic image. Fantastic image. Then we have our star. Look how beautiful this is. So the central deity pictured here is Asteria, Greek goddess of falling stars and yet another of the Titans. The moon is beautiful. The lunar deities here on the right are Hecate, goddess of the moon and of the crossroads, particularly those travelled by night. And on the left, the dual aspect Ixchel, the Mayan lunar goddess who depicts the two main faces of the moon. Wow. And then we have the sun, Shinto goddess of the sun, Amaterasu. I'm probably butchering these names. Here we have judgment, and look at this shadow here. And this is Vishnu at the top. And then we have a beautiful, beautiful world card. So that isn't the second fall that I shared. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to flash the camera. In the box here, it's the world card. So it's the journey of the fall to the world. And this is Shakti and Shiva. So Hindu deities. And then here we have our shining fall. So let's see what Cilla says for the shining fall. We have the fall here, and then the shining fall. Here at last is the tarot journey completed, not as a circle without end, but as a spiral moving up, through, and on to the unknown. The unified figure of the sacred marriage, the world, now expands out into a light-filled abyss to become the numinous shining soul, the all-knowing innocent, the nothing and the all. The fool has become one with the infinite mystery. Oh, I love it. All right, and then we move on to our minors. And what Cilla has put here is sacred geometry, numerology, and the minor arcana. So there's lots to read here as well, as you can see. The face cards, as I said in the introduction, I've switched the traditional pattern positions of the face cards. They now follow the ascending order of warrior, priestess, god, and goddesses, or goddess. Sacred geometry and numerology. I kind of use what I use for sacred geometry. We've got a thing here about the circle being 0. A whole section on sacred geometry. There's loads of information in this book. Loads. The elements represented there. Everything. And then we go into the minors. So for this bit, for the minors, I'm going to do a just a kind of flip through so you can see them and enjoy them with some music. Okay, so this is the 80th card, the Wild Gods. I love it. So we've got the Roman numeral there for 80. So it says, this, the 80th card of this tarot deck, is a link to the wild gods, magic, the unknown, or the shift into the next dimension, whatever seems right to you. This is a card that needs to speak intuitively in whatever way you can hear. The image shows various levels of awareness. At the bottom, our natural human selves, arms wide in wonder and awe. Above that is spirit, while our soul moves up to join the energy of Skarn at the top, where we dance wild and free, part of creation as it dances itself, reflecting the radiance of the one who created all things, which can just be seen in the center. And then there's a little bit about those deities, the impossible interpretation and reverse. But whilst there is a possible interpretation, like seeing things in a different way, this is really a card for intuition. As this deck, it's incredible. I really enjoyed the pips. They just seem alive. I think it's because they're just not static, you know, wands or swords. These are actual ancient artifacts that are being used for the cards. I mean, just look at that. How beautiful and rich in colour. They are just vibrant. And they almost seem like you could, the printing quality is so good, you can almost reach in and try and take them out. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. The face cards are beautiful, really beautiful. And again, I'm really looking forward to diving into the book and reading about all the deities that Cilla has chosen to represent either the warriors or the priestess, kings or queens, gods or goddesses. Just a stunning deck. And the mages are just beautiful. Love the Empress. I love so many of the cards, actually. It's just beautiful. I said about 330. I think it's a lot more than that, actually. I think it's probably 350 to 400 GSM. Really, really good quality. So I can't wait to get working with the deck and reading the book. I'm looking forward to breaking up from work in 2 weeks, because then I will have time. This weekend I've got Christmas shopping and everything like that to do. So yeah, this is one that I've got 2.5 weeks off coming up, and I've got a couple of decks, one that's out of print that I've been able to get, and one that I've wanted for a couple of years. So they're coming as a Christmas present to myself, and then this one as well is going to be a study deck during that holiday, so I can really read about these and probably ask Alexa as well to pronounce some of the names of the deities as well that are used, because I think that I butchered some here. But thank you, Cilla.
Here is an answer from an Alexa Answers contributor that I translated.
Alexa, stop. Did you just know that that was going to happen? I thought I'd gotten away with it. Cilla, if you're watching this video, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you sending me these treasures, which is exactly what they are. Absolutely beautiful. I really appreciate it. But I think you know that anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the weekly Cup of Catch-Up in Cards. I hope to see you there if you can make it. And until then, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.